Hello, hello, Melanie here, coming at you today with another edition of Off the Mat. And today I've got a special video for my women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. That is right, we are going to be talking about perimenopause, menopause, and burnout, and why sometimes when it seems like you're doing everything right, it still just is not enough. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You're trying to prioritize your health by eating right, staying active, keeping your stress levels down, but it seems like what you're doing just isn't enough. You're still tired. Anyone and anything is getting on your nerves, and no matter what you do with your diet, it just doesn't seem to be having the effect that you desire. What used to work no longer does. And so you're just kind of more stressed out and confused than you need to be, and you wish you had answers. Well, let me tell you, you are not alone. I too experience the same things. And as women in our 30s, 40s, and 50s, sometimes we have to just accept the fact that perimenopause and menopause step in and shake things up. It's the combination of fluctuating hormones, increased cortisol levels, and stress that come in and shake things up, shift things around, and that's why what used to work no longer does. Not only that, we are constantly connected to our devices, and it's the constant intake of information that adds to the situation. So you have to take a step back, you have to do an examination, an evaluation, and adjust things as necessary so you can find your new right, your new normal, and move forward. Let's start at the beginning. Perimenopause. What is it? That's a term that's become more popular over the last 5 or 6 years, and it's a term that we throw around a lot, but do we really know what it means? Well, I'll sit here and tell you. Perimenopause is when your body is preparing to no longer have a period. It can start anywhere in between your mid-30s and go all the way up until your mid-50s. It looks different in everybody. But some of the common ones are irregular periods, hot flashes, difficulty sleeping, changes in your mood, changes in your sexual desire, your function, and decreases in your bone health and increases in your cholesterol level. Menopause, on the other hand, is a singular point in time. Menopause is reached after 12 consecutive months of no longer having a period. It is that point, it is that moment, it is that day, and it's probably the day we're gonna all rejoice. And then we move into what's called the postmenopausal phase. Now, it's important to note that's how menopause is reached naturally. Menopause can also be reached through surgery and through medication. So if you have a hysterectomy or if you are undergoing chemotherapy, sometimes that ceases periods altogether and you enter into menopause that way. Next, we got to take a look at the hormones. So the symptoms that show up during perimenopause are a result of fluctuating estrogen levels and irregular ovulation. When you have decreased estrogen levels, that can increase your cortisol level, your stress hormone, so you're feeling off and on at the same time. You feel, run down, you feel ragged, you feel moody, but also stressed out at the same time. Fluctuating levels leads to irregularity and those symptoms that I just talked about. The symptoms that I've talked about thus far are more along the lines of how you feel, but there are also physical manifestations of perimenopause and those fluctuating hormone levels, and that really comes in the form of belly fat. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes there are not enough crunches, there's not enough cardio, there's not enough dietary restriction that you can do to get rid of the belly fat. It's not you, it's your low estrogen and your high cortisol. Blame perimenopause. So, if this sounds like you know you are not alone. I am going through it as well. So let's talk about what we can do to get through these periods of change together. First, I'm Moves with Melanie, so I'm always going to talk about movement. So movement during perimenopause and leading up to menopause, you really want to have that balance between high impact and low impact. Naturally, we would think to get rid of the belly fat and to increase our energy level, we would want to have the high cardio all of the time, but that's really counterproductive. You really need to have that balance of high and low impact workouts. So what does that look like? So higher impact movements like running, cardio dance sessions, indoor cycling, and then balancing it out with a nice 15-minute stretch to round out the workout. For me personally, I've been loving stretching. I've gotten more into yoga over the last year or so because it just feels so good and it's what my body has been craving. And as an instructor, I've incorporated extended stretching into my virtual Zumba classes for this reason. So what's the next thing you can do? Prioritize your sleep. Now I know this sounds easier said than done, but sleep is so important. And if you have difficulty, prioritizing sleep, you really need to incorporate that gentle reset that I was talking about last month and a good evening routine. I go into a whole lot more detail in my videos about those two subjects and on my website. So just check out my blogs on those two subjects for more specific information. But really, 7, 8, 9 hours a night is really ideal for women at this point in our lives. I would also give a shout out to a good power nap in the afternoon. I personally love those. I love a good 15, 20-minute nap when I can get them. Wake up, drink some tea, and then I feel like that's a good reset for the rest of my day, and it helps me segue into my evening a little bit smoother. Thirdly, properly fueling your body. So we've talked about, yeah, you're trying to prioritize your nutrition, you think you're eating healthily, but this is where seasonal eating really comes into play. I've spent the last year on YouTube, on Instagram, and in my blogs talking about seasonal eating because it's so important. Our body really does respond to different types of foods, different times of year. So check out my videos that go into more detail about what we should be eating in the fall, the winter, the spring, and the summer, because your body craves things, is going to respond differently to different types of foods at that time of year, and that's going to help your body perform at its optimal level and help you feel better overall. And I'll also add how beneficial having a regular meal schedule can be. 3 meals a day plus 2 snacks would really be ideal, and ideally at the same time each day can be very, very helpful. It's training your body to expect food, to expect nourishment, and to also metabolize it, and it helps keep your body functioning versus swinging up and down when you skip meals or eat at different times of day. Just like you don't want those fluctuating hormone levels, we see what that can do to your body. Your body doesn't want fluctuating meals. Create a good meal schedule, a good routine of what you're eating and when. So that's really it. Once you've identified what perimenopause and menopause are and how they can affect your body, adjust your routine, adjust your habits accordingly. Balance those high and low impact workouts, properly fuel your body through seasonal eating, and prioritize sleep. This is a journey. We are going to navigate our way through change. So as always, give yourself grace and embrace community. Find others to talk to about it. Comment below in this video. I would love to hear other tips, tricks, things that you incorporated in the past so we can share and learn from one another. And if you want personalized support to help navigate your way through this, I've got you. I am your health coach. I am your pharmacist if you live in Maryland and Virginia, and I would love to have you be a part of my Wellness Reboot health coaching program. Just visit my website, mymoveswithmelanie.com, fill out that complimentary consultation, schedule it, and let's chat and let's talk about how we can get you from where you are, navigate through this change, and get you to where you want to be. And if you're craving a deeper reset, rest, and connection, I would love to have you join the 2026 Women's Wellness Weekend. It's happening May 1st through the 4th in Westchester, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a long weekend of just that rest, reset, connection. All of your needs are going to be taken care of, and all of the details and sign-up information about that is on my website as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to hear what your comments are so we can share and learn from one another. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.